Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I am the Big D here, and this here is going to be a ranking list. And where, if y'all know it or not, I'm actually a fan of the great animation studio Hanna-Barbera. Now, formed by the late great William Hanna-Barbera back in, long ago, because they had worked on Tom and Jerry. And then they started their own animation studio in the 50s, and of course their first tune was the Rough and Ray show. But that's not what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about the Mystery Toons, which was introduced by a certain Scooby-Doo who is celebrating 50 years later on. I'm doing this to commemorate 50 years. This will be one of my few ranking lists to commemorate 50 years of Scooby-Doo. But I've also got other meddling kids on this list. So here we go. I'm going to be including most of the Mystery Toons. However, the only shows that I will not be including that always have some meddling kids, like Speed Buggy, even though that was a factual Mystery Toon, but however, it just doesn't have enough mystery and suspense to keep me and what have you. But it's still a good show. And the other one's the Buford Files from 1978, and that's about this bloodhound who works with these two teenagers, solve mysteries, much to the disapproval of the sheriff. But anyway, this is 12 of them, and it's gonna be different because I originally had 10 of them, but I've come up with last minute plans in my brain. So here we go. Coming in at number 12 is Jabberjaw from 1976. This premiered on the Alphabet Network, and Jabberjaw is this shark, and it's, of course, one of the two characters to follow in the footsteps after the success of Steven Spielberg's flick Jaws. Of course, the other one was the Patty Freeling's Mr. Jaw, which, of course, those are the guys who brought us the Pink Panther, who came out that same year Mr. Jaw did. Jabberjaw talks in the style of the legendary Three Stooges member Curly Howard, and also says Rodney Dangerfield's famous phrase, "I don't get no respect." But of course, in his way, it's like, "I don't get no respect." Yeah, as he's voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, Frank Welker, and he's the drummer of the band The Neptunes, where he's got four others: Biff, who's the guitarist; Clamhead, who's the bassist and is also Jabber's best buddy; Bubbles, who is a completely clueless gal, plays the keyboards; and then, of course, everyone's got to have someone who's vain, and that's Shelly, who is in a way like Alexandra from Josie and the Pussycats, which we'll see later on this list. And believe me, she has a great major disliking of Jabberjaw. Yeah, always mocking him, calling him names and what have you. That's one character that deserves a swift kick. Know what I mean? Okay, number 11 would be The Funky Phantom from 1971. And this was about three teenagers, Skip, April, and Augie, and their dog Elmo. And they arrive at a haunted house when their car, the Looney Dooney, kind of runs into a storm, so they go into this castle. When they find an old grandfather clock, when they knew the time was wrong, they set the hands to midnight, and then bong! Here comes Jonathan Mugglesworth, the third or second or something, but he's on the spirit of 1776. Voiced by Dawes Butler. He voiced him in the same way he voiced Snagglepuss for the studio back in the 60s. And he's pretty funny, and joining him is his animal companion, a ghost cat named Boo. They solve mysteries. This was actually more close to the Scooby-Doo feel, which of course we'll see where Scooby winds up. Also, another word to y'all, I'm only including one Scooby-Doo tune. I won't be including all of them. Okay? Next, at number 10 would be The New Shmoo from 1979, also celebrating anniversary, number 40. Based on the character from Al Cap's Little Abner comic strip, the Shmoo, voiced by Frank Welker, helps these three teens working for My Mysteries Comics Mickey, Nita, and Billy Joe solve mysteries for their comics company. It's pretty cute, actually. I like this little guy. Smooth's really cool. He shapeshifts. Really cool. He would also, after this, would later be included in the Bedrock Cops segment on the Flintstone comedy show the following year. And that show was actually on the Peacock. And, oh, I forgot, Funky Phantom was on the Alphabet, but he would later get rerun on the Peacock, though. Anyway, that show's very underrated, though. Next, number 9 would be... Let me see now. Oh, yeah. Number 9 would be Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels. Now, for those of you who haven't heard, Captain Caveman's going to be featured in the new Scooby-Doo animated motion picture due out next year called Scoob. And to my surprise, he's going to be voiced by Tracy Morgan. I wonder how he'll do a good job on that character. I don't know. He was originally voiced by legendary voice actor Mel Blanc. Freed from his icy prison by these 3 gals who call themselves the Teen Angels, who were kind of patterned after TV's Charlie's Angels, Brenda, Dee Dee, and Taffy. Ooh, Taffy has a killer crush on old Cavey. Yep, and this here hero is just so zany and funny. He carries his club deck out that he'll fly, and sometimes his fly power will give out, and, well, all sorts of other things he can do with his club. Can activate other animals to help him out in situations. There's so much to say about Captain Caveman. Anyway, next, number 8 is... This was one show I accidentally forgot from my original 10, and that was Goober and the Ghost Chasers from 1973. Now, this came on the Alphabet Network, and Goober, voiced by Paul Winchell. You may remember the original voice of Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, and also from other great cartoons. He voices this here skinny dog, blue dog, and, well, whenever he gets scared, he becomes invisible, and he works for the Ghost Chasers magazine with Ted, Tina, and Gilly. When I take pictures for their magazine, they have guest appearances just like the new Scooby-Doo movies did, with the Partridge Family kids, excluding Keith, unfortunately. They also had Michael Gray, who the following year will be the star of TV's Shazam, and, well, and Will Chamberlain, too, I think. But this show's pretty good, too, and I like Goober, because he's pretty darn funny, and one of his famous phrases is like, "This is ridiculous!" That's that same laugh he always does for Tigger. Anyway, number 7 is Inch High Private Eye, also from 1973, and this was about this little tiny dude who is an inch high, and he works for the Pinkerton Detective Agency with his niece Lori and her Master of the Skies pal Gator. Also along is the big St. Bernard Braveheart. They always get involved in some predicaments. Even their boss, Mr. Pinkerton, gets in. And he really gets upset when Inch discovers it to him. "Why, you little pipsqueak?" Yeah, it kind of talks in the style of Joe Flynn from McHale's Navy. Yeah, I like the show, though. Number 6, this would be a factual mystery tune since it has adventure and espionage or something like that. The original Josie and the Pussycats from 1970. After Scooby-Doo's success, and while despite the Archie gang were under license at Filmation after having success with the Archie Show and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, well, Hanna-Barbera got the rights to this Archie imprint. Josie, along with her friends Val and Melody, plus their manager, Alexander Cab III, who is in a way like Shaggy, always being afraid of himself. That's because he was voiced by Casey Kasem, the voice of Shaggy. And his major pain, the you-know-what sister, Alexandra, and of course Alan, who is actually the boyfriend of Josie, which, well, Alexandra just doesn't want him to be around Josie. And then, of course, there's our cat Sebastian, who's really funny. I like the show. The music's really good. Everything's really cool about the show. The theme song's good. I just love it. Next at number 5 is The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan from 1972. This came on the Eye, and same with Josie and the Pussycats. And this is kind of loosely an adaptation of the character Charlie Chan, and he's got so many kids. They want to try and tag along with him, much to his disapproval sometimes. But they'll on solving the mystery though. But not too bad. It's got a mystery. It's got lots of mystery feel. It's got some music as well done that was produced by Don Kirshner, who also produced the music for the Archies, as a matter of fact. Well, the rest of it is clearly on my list. But I do like this show. Next, number 4 is Clue Club from 1976. Now this came on the I Network, despite Scooby-Doo was Splitsville from the network and went to the Alphabet Network. And there and there's these 4 kids. There's gum-chewing Larry, and then there's Pepper, who's the blonde, who sometimes wants to try and be careful at times, and Dee Dee, who wears this detective-like hat and this blue jacket. Yeah, and then, of course, there's Dottie, the short stuff of the group. Larry just doesn't want her to tag along the mission, but she'll appear, though, later on, sometimes with Sheriff Bagley. And then, of course, there's their 2 dogs, Woofer and Whimper, who are both so funny enough. Now, you just stay right there by me, boy, and just follow my lead. Whatever you say, Woofer. Yeah, that's kind of my best impression of those 2. Of course, Woofer was voiced by Paul Winchell. Yes, you got it. I love Clue Club. I've seen every episode. Actually, I've seen every episode of these Mystery Tunes, as a matter of fact. They're really good. Clue Club, I'd say you should check it out. If you like Scooby-Doo, you won't be disappointed much. Number 3, I gotta do rapid fire real quickly, or else I'm gonna have to stop this vid. But I think I can get that. Number 3 is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids from 1973. This kind of was in a mix of Josie and the Pussycats and the Hardy Boys cartoon, which Filmation produced a few years before that. Now, Butch Cassidy is the leader of a band, which is the Sundance Kids, and they're really undercover agents working for the Worldwide Talent Agency. Along with them are Marilee, Steffi, and Wally, who is voiced by Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees. And of course, there's their dog Elvis, who has a say when they go see their boss, Mr. Socrates, who's a computer and he's allergic to dogs. That's something you don't see every day. A computer that's allergic to dogs. Can you believe that? John Stevenson does a great job on that character. I love it. They go off to solve mysteries and play concerts and what have you. I do love this show. It's probably one of the funniest. Next, number 2 is Hong Kong Phooey from 1974, which is celebrating its 45th anniversary this year. Now, this has Scatman Crothers voicing the title character. You may remember him. He voiced Scat Cat in the Aristocats. He'd also go on to appear in The Shining and also TV's Chico and the Man, plus do voice acting work in lots of other tunes like. Well, he recently did the Harlem Globetrotters cartoon. He'd later do a spin-off, the Super Globetrotters, in '79, and he voiced Jazz in the original Transformers cartoon. And he's really Penry, who the mild-mannered janitor at the police department, and well, he's the karate-chopping Hong Kong Phooey, although he doesn't get the bad guys with his moves and stuff. I'll explain why when I review this show in the future, okay? It's really funny. Finally, number 1, you guessed it, the one that started all, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, from 1969. Don't need to say much about this show. You know Scooby, you know those meddling kids, always going after a man in a mask. That's all there is to it. What did you think of the list? Tell me what's your favorite Hanna-Barbera mystery tune is if you like any of these in the comments section. Please feel free to like, and please subscribe. I need some subscribers, please. Thanks for watching. I'm the Big D. I'll have another ranking list shortly. See ya.